Let's see how to create a basic RESTful web service application here. Okay, yes, a RESTful web application, not basic or advanced. There is nothing like that. Sorry. So I'm creating a dynamic web project. You see the normal application which we create. Okay, yes, this is a dynamic web project, and I'm just making sure that I've just created this project. It's on some Tom server as of now. Okay, it can run on any server. There is no restriction. Okay, yes. So now after this, you have to add RESTful, libraries here to this one. As I said, in the last class, I gave you the link to download the RESTful Jersey implementations, right? Jersey is one of the, implementation, RESTful JAX service implementation, reference implementation. So you have to add those libraries here, okay? I'm just adding them. So we'll copy this library. I'll not add the client project, okay? Yes, I'm just leaving the client. Yes. Client jar. Don't add the client jar. Add all other jars which I've downloaded. Yeah. Okay, fine. So now you got this jars, okay? This lib directory. Next thing, what we have to do, you have to configure the servlet container here, okay? Yes. Let's configure the servlet container. The component which is mainly responsible for intercepting the requests, and what it does, it will map them to the appropriate RESTful resources. Yes. So I'll call it as Jersey servlet. Yes. So this is the servlet container class which you have to configure. And this container class will take an initialization parameter which is predefined. Parameter name is predefined here. com.sun.jersey.config.property Next, run value. Here in the last class I was talking about it. This package actually, why do we use this package? Initialization parameter. What is the purpose of initialization parameter here? Yes, to scan for the RESTful classes. Basically we use it for scanning the RESTful classes. Yes. So in whichever package we use the RESTful classes, you have to mention the package name here. Yes, that is needed. So let's say com.mtc.rest.resources, let's say. just create this package. We'll add all our RESTful service classes here to this package, let's say. Okay, com.mtc.rest. Fine. So next we'll configure the URL for this servlet container. Okay, yes. Servlet mapping. The URL map here is rest/star. Hence, all the URLs whose prefix will be rest. All those URLs will be intercepted by this servlet. Okay, yes, fine. So now, once we are done with this, I can say that we have successfully configured the RESTful, framework here. Now we can start using it. So let's develop a simple RESTful service. Okay, yes. The package com.mtc.rest.resources. Let's say test service. Call it as test service. So here how do I convert this class to a service, RESTful service here? What to do? First of all, we have to annotate this. Class with the annotation. Okay. Yes. You have to use the annotation. What annotation should be used here? The path. Path. So this path annotation, it belongs to which API? It belongs to which API here? So this annotation actually, it belongs to JAX-RS. Okay, it belongs to JAX-RS API. Yes, it belongs to JAX-RS API. Now, here this is a RESTful resource class. So generally, what we'll do if it is a RESTful resources class here, we will annotate it. Sorry, we'll configure the URL for this. Right? We have to configure the URL for this. The URL can be anything. Let's say test. I'll call it as test. Okay. So now next thing, let's say I got a method. Okay. Let's say it has got some functionality. Whenever this method is called, let's say it returns some data. Okay. Maybe it interacts with the database or fetches the data from the database, whatever it is. Probably let's just consider that here, this method, what it does when we call this method, it returns some data. So here, the data is some text content. Okay, yes. So I'll do this response. I'll specify the return type is response. Let's say get message. Okay. Now this method, after fetching the details here from the method, sorry, when this method is called, what it does, let's say it will fetch some data from the database and returns this data. Okay, so how it returns the data? So it has to construct the response here. Okay, yes. So return response dot status. You can set the status here. So you'll have a HTTP response status, right? Yes, if you people remember, we got HTTP response status codes. So if the request is successfully processed, what will be the status code? What should be the status code? If the request is successfully processed, the client's request, if it is successfully processed, the status code should be what? 200. Okay. The status code 200 indicates that the request is successfully processed. Now, I want to construct some message response data here. I want to send it back to the client. For response, let's say hello. Let's say this method, let's say takes one parameter. Okay, let's say it takes a parameter. Let's say so. Whatever the parameter this method takes, okay, using that parameter, let's say construct some message. Okay. So just a second. Now, if you want some text content, you can build the response this way. Okay, quickly. You can build the response this way. So now, this method, when it is invoked, okay, takes some input, constructs some response, and sends it back to the client. It returns this response back to the client, right? Yes. Now, the thing is, here, this method, it should, this method, how it should be accessible. Like basically, what HTTP method should be used for accessing this method? Can you people tell me based on the type of operation? Based on the type of operation, can you people tell me what HTTP method should be used here? Yes, we were talking about 4 HTTP methods in the last class, which are used generally, right? Yes. So, yes, you see here, if the method, yes, actually this method, because it returns some data, okay, it is reading some data and returns some data. We're fetching the data here, so it has to be annotated with get method. Get. That means, this get method here, it indicates that whenever a client places a request for the URL test using HTTP method get, then this method will be invoked. That will be invoked. Okay, the client is not going to directly call the method, right? The client will not invoke the method directly. The client is not going to call the method directly. Instead, client will place a request for the URL test, and here, if that request is placed for the URL using HTTP method get, okay, then this method will be invoked. And you see this method also takes a parameter. So the client has to pass a parameter as well here. Okay, the client has to pass a parameter as well here. Yes, the client has to pass a parameter. Yeah. Here it takes one parameter. It is of type string. It takes one parameter here of type string, right? Yes. You see, you have to annotate this parameter also. Yes. At the rate, you have to bind this. You have to bind this parameter to the query parameter. Query parameter. Say username. That means if a client passes a parameter called as username, a form parameter called as username, or a query parameter called as username, okay, if the client passes a query parameter called as username, then that value in that parameter, will be mapped to or will be stored into this parameter, into this local variable or parameter username. That's it. Okay, yes, the value which is passed on through a query parameter will be stored into this parameter. That's it. That is how it will be mapped. Fine. Now we got the service. Okay. Yeah. Now here we can deploy this application on the server. It's very simple. Development of RESTful services is very simple and straightforward. Just run this code. Okay. Now, if I want to call that, method, okay, from the client. So how do we do this? What should be the URL here? Can you people tell me how to construct the URL for this? Yes. Can someone tell me what should be the URL to call that resource method? Yes. So the URL should be test/test. Is this enough? Is this enough to call that resource method? Actually, here you have to add a query parameter here, right? Yes. Add a query parameter. Let's write question mark. Username is case sensitive again. Let's say Harry. Something like this. Okay. So when you do this, now you'll find that here that method will be invoked. Sorry, that method will be invoked. And it returns some response here. Yes. Oops. Sorry. Actually, I'll tell you, don't use this browser. This browser has got some issue. Use some external browsers here. any browser, any other browser other than, yeah, you see, you got the message. Other than that internal browser, use any other browser. Yeah. Okay, fine. You see, here you got the response message. That's it. This way it works. Okay, what if I don't pass a query parameter? What happens in this case? Let's see. Okay, you see that parameter is considered as null. Simply null is considered. Yes. Fine. So, here, what if I place the request for this URL using post method? Will it work? No. It only works for get method. Please remember. It only works for get method. Yes. Now, um, here, actually, we can pass the values or input for this method this way through the query parameters. But you know what? We got other options also. Okay, we got other options also. Apart from query parameters, we can pass them as path parameters. Okay, the other option is we can pass the parameters as path parameters. Okay, let's see how they look like. Path parameters. So here to comment this method, this time we'll pass the values, input values for this method as path parameters. I'll change it to path parameter. Yes. Change it to path parameter. So what happens if you do this? So if you change it to path parameter, then you see here the input value which you're passing will be slightly different here now. The way you have to pass the input will be different. Let's see. Now the URL also will slightly differ. So here we have to add a path attribute here also, path annotation here also. Then do this. Register the path parameter here. That's it. So this path parameter, you have to configure it here also this way. Yes. Yeah. Fine. Now let's see how to call this resource method now. Okay. Yes. This time you can't do this. You see, you can't call that method using query parameter. Says method not allowed. This is the message you get. It says method is not allowed. You can't pass a query parameter and call this method. Okay. Yes. Then how to call that? How to access that resource using this URL here? Yes. So the URL should be slightly modified. I said here now make sure that you pass a path parameter. Make sure that you pass a path parameter here now. Yes, let's see. This way. After this URL test, after that resource URI test, add a slash followed by the value. That's it. You don't specify the path parameter name again here. Just pass the value which you want, which you want to call to the pass to the method. Just we have to pass the value here. That's enough. Fine. Now let's see. You see, it works. Please make a note of it. This is how we can pass a path parameter. Again, otherwise sometimes people will be messed up. They don't know how to access a resource when and using a path parameter by passing a path parameter. Please make a note of it. This is a URL which I have to construct. Yes. And what if I want to pass more than one path parameter? Got it? What if I want to pass more than one path parameter here? Is it possible? Yes, you can do that. If you got more than one path parameter, then how will you pass the path parameters in that case? Yes. So if you want to pass more than one path parameter, then in that case, here we can do that. Not at all a problem. First of all, let's configure those path parameter details in the method. Okay. So I'll change it. First name, say last name. Now you got two path parameters, right? So how to configure them this way? Slash, okay, first path parameter name is first name, followed by slash last name. That's it. Okay, this is all you're supposed to do now. Here, how to pass two path parameters? What do you people think? Can someone tell me what to do here? How to pass two path parameters? Yes, that's it. It's very simple. Okay, you have to just add a slash followed by another value. So this, let's say 2 values. That's it. Okay, the second path parameter, add a slash and pass. You see, you got the response. That's it. Okay, so hope this is clear for you. Any doubts or issues, please let me know. Okay, now you know what, here we are able to call or access this RESTful resource methods through the browser. But this is the only option we got. Can we only access them through the browser? Or do we have any other option also? Well, we got any other option. Yes, we got another option also here. Yes, we got many such options. So basically, wherever you can construct this URL, okay, construct a HTTP request and send the URL, it is possible to call this resource methods here. Yeah, fine. You know what? Here you will find that RESTful JAX-RS, it provides the client API also, which we can use to access this methods. Okay? It provides a client API also, which we can use. That means, this RESTful web services can be accessed from any application. So there won't be any kind of restriction for this. Yes. From any application you can access it using this client API. Okay. If you don't have a client API, then they will be only accessible through a browser. That will be a big constraint again. So that kind of constraint is not there here. Okay, you got a very good client API which you can use to access them. Yes. Fine. So you know what, here in Java, JAX-RS provides this API, client API, which we can use. Okay. Similarly, in other languages also, we have appropriate APIs or libraries which we can use to, construct this URLs this way dynamically and access this RESTful resource methods and all. Okay. Yes. So that won't be a problem. Fine. So here, let's do one thing. We'll create a client application. A client can be a normal Java application. Okay, a client here can be a normal Java application. Yes. So RESTful, you can create a normal Java application. Client. So here, now in order to access this client application, sorry, to access that RESTful resource through this client application, yes, you need to add the JAS here. Okay, RESTful JAS. Add to the build path. valid all the tests. Fine. Now, you know what? Here, we got certain components which we can use to develop this client application. Let's make use of it. Yes. We'll try to use this components to access this RESTful resource. First and foremost thing, use this client config object. So client config object is used, okay, to access this resource. So basically, it's a factory object for creating the client I can say. So we're trying to create a client here. This is client object. It's going to help us to access the resource. Okay. Yes. So what is the address of that resource? You have to configure the address here. This way. So here, to this method from URI, you have to pass that resource details. You have to pass the resource details here. Yes. So you see here, we copy this resource. This URL, I'm sorry, it should be referring to the project here. That's it. It should be referring to the project here. That's it. So now you got this URL, okay, which refers to the project, okay, RESTful resource project here. Yes. So what is the next thing you people are supposed to do now? Yes. Now the next thing is, you create a web resource object which is going to refer to that resource. Client dot resource. You pass the URI of the resource here, and then we'll construct the request here. We are constructing the request now to access the resource. Okay, web resource dot path. What is the path? Test to this path here, to this URI. We are appending the path again. Path. What is the path here? Oh, sorry, rest. No, but it should be rest. Or else still rest here. I'll add it here. I'm sorry. Still rest will add it here. After that, you see test slash. It takes two parameters, right? I have to pass those parameters here. Array slash commit. except it should specify what type of data it accepts. Media type dot I'm sorry, I specified the wrong type. Dot, so it supports many different types. Basically, we'll consider text or HTML content, plain text. Dot get, we're expecting a string. So pass this type, string type. That's it. Okay, fine. What is this get method doing here? So by calling the get method, you're placing a request using HTTP method get. Okay, by calling the get method, basically you're placing a request using HTTP method get here. That's it. So what if I want to place a post request? We got post method. Okay, we got a post method. We'll find the method appropriately. So this getting indicates that we want to place HTTP method get request. That's it. Okay. Yes. Now you see the request will be placed for that resource. Okay, the request will be placed for that resource. The thing is here that resource returns a string. It returns a response of type string here. So that value now in turn will be written by this method here. The value in turn will be written by this method. So you have to take this value and store it somewhere. Let's do that. String message. Then we'll print that message. That's it. This is a you can develop. You can use a client API to access that resource. Okay, it's RESTful resource. It's fine. Now we'll call this. We'll run this code. Yep, it's in the console. You got the message. Okay. Yes, you see this way you got different options here to access this RESTful resources. Okay. Yes. They have been standardized. This the concept of RESTful resources has been standardized. So that's the reason why you see to implement the APIs which support this RESTful web services. They all follow the same concepts. They're based on the same concepts here. Okay. Yes. So you will find that here you got the support for this RESTful services in many different languages. You have the libraries accordingly which you can use in different languages to develop the web service and to consume the web service here. Okay. Yes. Both to develop and to consume the web service. Fine. So hope you people got it. Yeah. Actually, there are many other things which I have to discuss. I believe I need one more class actually because we couldn't take the class on Saturday morning. So we need one more class, but um, I will inform you people when I have it. Okay. Yes. The same set of jars which we have added, which I have downloaded. I have added all the jars here. Yes. Whatever the jars you download, just add them. That's it. Yes. I've added the same set of chats. So I will inform you people in 2-3 days. I'll try to conduct a class, okay, and we'll wrap this RESTful web services. So we got a very important concept which we have to discuss. So I'll mail you people 1 day or 2 days before itself, 1 days before. During this week, okay, till Friday, Thursday or Friday, till Friday, Thursday, the deadline, I'll definitely conduct a session, okay. So I'll inform you people, I'll message you, okay, and you can actually, you can do one thing. You can also ping me if you didn't get any mail in 1-2 days, okay. It's in 2 days, not 1 day. I won't mail the people tomorrow, but I'll mail the people day after tomorrow. If you don't get a mail day after tomorrow, then please ping me and we online in Skype and I'll let you know. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Bye bye.